What's up, everybody? Welcome to More Trades. We had this interesting move yesterday from Bitcoin. We expected volatility from the FMC, but we need to take a look at something before that. Is the DXY. The DXY is right over there at the target that I had for a long time. That is the 111.836. And we got to the 111.814, pretty close. That was just a bull flag breakout measured move that I was watching. And what do we expect now? After this big move from the DXY, I would expect a slight resistance, as this move has really been parabolic. DXY has been in a uptrend for the past, let's look, years. It's been going up as far as you can go. And if we look at that, if we release from here from 111, then next target is 121, not too far away. That's the previous level of resistance. We could go up there. This is on the weekly. Obviously we'll have some choppy movement in between, where we've broken 20-year highs, as I said so many times, and we're looking to even go higher. And this goes back to 2002. Zooming in would show us that we could find resistance over here at 117 and 115. These two levels would be previous levels of resistance. Just to monitor, I like to monitor the DXY. It's very important to monitor the DXY because if it moves up, then Bitcoin down, all markets down, obviously. Where did I put it? 118, that's 118. We have this other level over here, 114, and we have the next one would be here. So 114 is my next level. If we break out, people are looking at 112, but I think 114 could be there. And look at that weekly candle. We haven't wicked that much of a wick, and we're approaching the end of the week pretty soon. On the daily, we're getting some slight pullback. Let's go back to the 15 minutes. So yeah, so now that the DXY is at that level, before we break out, if we're going to break out, I expect us to probably roll over to 109.273 if we're going to get there. But we will have a rollover, and what will that do to Bitcoin and the rest of the market? We would have an up move. At the moment, Bitcoin is also facing some resistance at the, let's see, is that the 50 on the 15 minute? We're very close to the 200, and on the hourly we're very close to the 50, which lies at 18,975. If we go up, we might come all the way up to recover this insufficiency, although it will face some resistance, 19,520 and 19,692. Then if we break that, then we could release up all the way up. But looking at, I think we would get to 19.9. We wouldn't get to the 20K. If we get there, it would be a good, we could have something like this. We pump up, not in one candle, double top, and come back down, and we'll take the measured move as we get there. For now, what I'm looking at, I'm waiting for for Bitcoin to get to those levels so I can enter another trade. At the moment, this was a good trade to take off a bull flag. So if I switch off my indicator, we had a bull flag over here. This is the pole, this is the flag, and we have a breakout. A bull flag forms when we have a move up, then we have a downward consolidation, and we break out. And if you want to measure it, you take that, place it at the breakout of the flag, takes us to 19.1, possibly even 19,300. or where would the top of this channel? We're back in the channel. See, I said in the video yesterday, if we lose 19.7, which is the value area low of this price action that goes back to 20th of August, it will be very bad for Bitcoin. But I mentioned that losing that level means opening and closing candles beneath it. We haven't opened and closed the candle beneath it. Over here we did it. It was short-lived and we went as low as 18.2. This time we went even lower, almost 18.83. And did we form any divergences on that big between these two? You have lower lows on the price action, a low, and you have a lower low over here, and then on the stochastic you have a low and a higher low. That is bullish divergence. So that's the reaction of the bullish divergence. And we also had it on the MACD. You could see a low and a higher low over here, low, higher low. So looking at those tells us that we might have a reversal, especially on a high time frame like the 4-hourly. On the daily might be hard to see or might not even exist. This was the previous low. We didn't get that on the daily, but on the 4-hourly is acceptable. That's the bullish divergence. We usually would have a move up. How high would we go? Obviously you need to be aware of the resistances, your indicators. MACD on the 4-hourly is about to cross up. Stochastic is about to cross up. It's in the bearish range. It has room to move up. Let's go to the lower time frame. 1-hourly, we're moving up. We were oversold and we're moving up, and the MACD has crossed. 15 minutes. We are reaching that overbought region. We still have room to move up, and we have that. Let's go to another chart where I have my trend base fib time. We hit the trend base fib time. Let's go on the hourly. We hit the trend base fib time on this hourly candle, and we're getting a further reaction. Will this, you see the trigger line over here, was our pivot point. We essentially went down, and then that's the time the next candle we pivoted upwards, and now we're in this one. Would this give us another pivot? It's not as strong as when you see the 0.618 fib time that is coming on the 27th of September, but it is a pivot point for this price action. What I would love to see is that Bitcoin test a significant level, at least on the hourly. We have an order block over here that you could keep an eye out for. See this block? We are in that order block. Are we going to fail at this point? This order block over here, see this line was respected by so many candles. I won't go, if I take it lower you'll see fewer candles. So let's put it up here, these above the wicks, and we're right over there and we're wicking again. And if we look at our volume profile for this micro move on the hourly, just to know where our value area highs and our value area lows for this range, we are below our value area low. Actually, we are getting above it. Point of control 19,000, value area high 19,500. We need to be very careful when trading these choppy ranges, and be careful on the leverage that you use. This is not a trending range at the moment. The bias is to go lower, but you are already very low at the range. You need to wait for that pullback to where, possibly to the point of control or to your EMAs on a good time frame. Depending if you're a scalper, this doesn't make a difference. You could go as low as a 5 minute and that would be perfect for you. You could trade this range and draw a box. You have the down wick and you have the up wick, and then you draw a box and you trade it as a range. We could be ranging between this for a while if we don't break out. I personally am waiting at least for 19.3 to maybe depending on the reaction and how I feel about the move and the volume and the indicators, MACD, stochastic, overbought or oversold, or they have more room to move up, then I would if the MACDs have more room to move up as we reach the 50 EMA, I would wait. That's the best thing. However, on this indicator, on the 50 EMA, we found our first green vector candle followed by a red vector candle, and when you see a green vector candle that appears above the 50, essentially it's telling me there is more room to the upside. If you look at it on the 15-minute time frame, we have this green candle and we recovered it. We had this big red candle, we recovered it. Almost 70% of that candle has been recovered. If you take it from the high to the bottom of the red candle, you'll see that we hit the 0.8 of that candle, and now we moved down, recovered this candle, created new lows, and now a point of interest is this stopping volume candle and this wick which lies at below 18,100. But will Bitcoin go here first, or will the market take us as high as this wick over here? It could do that, but it recovered most of it. To make sense of why is price even moving? We have liquidation levels for shorts and longs. You could take a look at them. Liquidation levels. Liquidation levels for this. There you go. You can see the shorts and longs, we're eating them. Let's see how many people went short on this FOMC wick. Look at that. All of that eaten from people who had shorts from out here or even higher. You don't see numbers on them or values. This liquidity has been eaten. And at the moment we have shorts from 25x are furthest, the liquidation the far at 19.4, 19.5. Our 100x traders, people who go on high leverage, you could see we have 100x traders over here. It's very probable that Bitcoin will come and stop them out. 50x traders, $1.73 million worth of Bitcoin, 1.1. 19,000 has 1.73 million. So around here we have more than $3 million worth of shorts. And if we even go higher, that level of 19.3 I'm talking about, you can see at 19.368 we have 1.1 million, 0.17 million, 0.33 million, 1.73 million, 19.420. We have some liquidity down there. Now let's look at the longs. You can see we have a good amount of longs, 4 million, 1.1, 1.5. So I'd say we have more longs on the chart than shorts, but that doesn't mean they'll go down first. We've seen it so many times that even when we have a large amount of, say, shorts, the price doesn't go up and liquidate them. It goes down first. So no way of telling. That's why you use different indicators and fib levels and trying to get more confluence into the trade. Over here was a high probable, very high probable trade. We had our value area high, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, let me just take a look at that. It's on this other chart I have over here. We had the point of control. Obviously, we wicked above it. We went as high as, I think we went to the 0.8. Like almost the whole level recovered, the whole drop recovered, but we had an EMA, we had EMAs over here, We had the 50 EMA on the 4 hourly over here. We wicked above it. You could have got stopped out. We had this level of resistance, 19,520, which was previous support, bounced. Now it's resistance. We came up as resistance. So if you got in 19,520, you could have got stopped out there. When that happens, you need to go to a smaller time frame and see the reaction. That smaller time frame allows you to get in at a better entry. So you would be over here. You would notice that you got stopped over here. You got in, you would wait for the reaction over here. You'd be looking at your MACD, any crossover. We got a crossover on this candle, and you could have ride it down and put your stops a bit higher. Don't use so much leverage, and you get an entry. At the moment, this indicator is showing us we had a long entry over here at this pin bar. We got a buy signal over a short signal. We didn't get a buy signal on the hourly. Still, even on the 15-minute, we didn't get a buy signal. The buy signal comes after the 8, 13, and 21 cross the 55. The 8 and 13 cross. The 21 might cross if you continue higher and get a buy signal. And as soon as that happens, maybe we'll reverse down. That's what happens on smaller time frames, because you're supposed to scalp, not swing trade. You need to be quick in, quick out. At the moment, we are moving to the upside. That's stochastic and MACD. It happens that we cross up, but we don't get much of a big move, and then we could just crash down. It happens we could cross back down, but that's what's happening now. The measured move of the bull flag is right over here, and it seems we're getting there. Now, I want to switch off the indicators and show you a wave count that could be in play. We have broken the channel yesterday, and that would be bearish, but then as you see, we came right back into it. We're above the mid of the descending channel. That is bullish, and the next target would be around here, the top of the channel. If it's not going to fake out and go up, it would be, if we just go to the top of the channel, we have 19,183. Now, the wave count. Let's go back to 21, 22K. We had this as a wave 1. We had this as a possible 2. And then we have this as a 3 and a 4. And we're expecting this to be a 5th wave. We're coming down the 5th wave. The 5th wave is supposed to have 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are different ways of counting these. But if this was our wave 1 and this is our wave 2, then our wave 3 should go as low as, could go as low as, not should, nothing is certain in these markets. We could go as low as the 1-to-1 extension. That means it will be as long as the wave 1, or the 1.618, 16,858. This is what happens. So that's a 1, 2. If we say this was a 1, that's a 2. This is a 3, the wave 3. The 4 is very long to say that this sharp recovery is typical of a wave 2. We have a sharp recovery. Wave 4 is usually extended. It could be the opposite sometimes, but this looks like a wave 4. And if we say this was a 1, 2, 3, and this is our 4, this is way long. I would say this is a wave 1 of the wave 3. And this is our wave 4, our wave 2 of the wave 3. So if I go from the top of wave 3 to the bottom, then we are essentially at the 0.5 extension at the moment for wave 4. Wave 4 doesn't usually like going more than the 0.5. If we start going there, then the count is different. We could count this whole move as a 1 and this is a 2, which could bring us back up to the 0.786 or even higher. We could go up even as high as, if this whole move was a 1, this is a 2, we could go as high as 19.7. Or even the golden pocket is at 19.367. Bitcoin loves this golden pocket, we know that. And in here, in this wave, the corrective wave, if it's an ABC, we have this here, the beginning of A, and we say this peak was the end of A, because A has 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, and this is our B wave. So we had beginning of A to end of A to, if we say this was the end of B over here, our wave C can even go as high as a 1.618. The 1.618 for wave C will coincide with our retracement from the top of 1 to the bottom of 1. That would bring us very close to the 0.786 level of a retracement of a wave 2. So this would be a 1 and possibly a 2. Then you can imagine a third wave that is as big or even bigger, because a wave 3 is never the shortest. So how do I measure this? If I say, if we look at it this way and we said this was a 1 to the end of 1, and your wave 2 can come to 19.7, we said, around 19.7, somewhere around here. Our wave 3 could come as low as 17.661 or even 16.382. A lot of things are pointing down to the 17K region, showing that maybe the 17, our previous low, our June low, won't hold. We might get a bounce. I said if we lose 18.7, we'll go to 17K most probably, but you need to be aware that it won't move straight down. This is a typical example. We might creep slowly into the next, what is that? On the 27th, we have something happening on the 27th. Let's look at what's happening today, what new today that will affect the market. Here's a calendar. Let's go to the calendar and choose what date is it today. Today is the 23rd, 22nd, the 22nd. There we go. We have news for the GBP, official bank rate. That will affect the British pound, and in turn assets trading against the British pound. They expect a rate hike for in UK. That will be 50 basis points, and if that happens, that will strengthen the pound and possibly affect the USD GBP pair and cause the USD to go down, and that could lead to assets to rise up today. That's how you should look at it. And anything for USD, unemployment claim is one mover. They're expecting to have higher unemployment claim. That is also not good. If we have higher unemployment, that could also affect the market, as people will be more people unemployed. That means more people claiming benefits from the government. That doesn't show a good economy. That could also be a positive thing for the market, I believe. On the 27th, let's look if we have anything happening on the 27th. I have FIB time coming in 27th, and we have the consumer confidence coming out. we'll see how it is on the 27th. Anything next week on the 25th, 26th, yeah, till the 27th. New home sales shows annualized number of new single family homes that were sold during this. This is also a gauge for economy. If more homes are being bought, people are doing well. So basically today we don't have much news on the US dollar. We have unemployment claim. That's more or less natural gas. We know what's going on there. So next levels to watch is around 19,183, 19,360 I believe, 19,520 and the 19,700 range. A break of this 20,000 and say 200 would tell us we could be coming up to the 21,700 and even up to the 22,100 to 22,800 range. So for this to get bullish, we need to first break this high. If you see us breaking these highs and going up, then you know the count will change. Definitely the Elliott wave count changes. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum was doing much better than Bitcoin. It's broken out of this descending channel that it was in for a while and has been creeping down. Will Bitcoin do the same? At the moment, we are at a level of support / resistance, and we are getting above it, I believe, yes. That is also good for Ethereum. I believe Ethereum next level is 1406 and 1380. I don't have it on the chart. Around the 1380 region is another point of resistance. We have this block over here. This was, I'll take a fixed range volume profile and for this down move over here, let's take it from here. Our point of control, we are below the value area low, which is at 1357. Point of control at 1602, and another value area high at around 1760. But I think the value area high, value area low is your first point to, if you start pumping up, as a point to chance trade entry. Solana has been ripping up. Point of resistance for Solana 32.21. We've been trading around it up and down, but it was good resistance previously. Markets are looking good, so we know that if markets are bouncing, everything else bounces. If the Dow Jones bounces, Dow Jones is up 132 points, and the Nasdaq is up 48 points. And if we continue like this green for the day, above 500 points for the Dow Jones would be a good pump for Bitcoin. Nasdaq is up 0.43%, Bitcoin is up 2.6%. DXY is having a pullback and trying to bounce back up to test it. File USD is going up to the resistance again, 5.52. Everything went sort of to resistance yesterday at the meeting. You could have entered short on many, if not all, assets. Chili's did the same thing during the FOMC. Chili's level of support is down at 0.2246, and we have a level of resistance at 0.2653. So if we go up there, it's a good point, but we might not get up there. You can see this this block we have over here, and now we're stalling over here. It's a level of resistance. We could be forming, we could come down form an inverse head and shoulders, or even go up, form a double top and continue down. This looks like a huge complex head and shoulders. I think we have it on Bitcoin also. Let's look at Bitcoin. Not really. We have it on the weekly. We have the huge head and shoulders on the weekly on Bitcoin. So basically that's my target, my first target for whoever's going long on the bull flag breakout trade. You should be looking at 19,137 as your first target. Probably would be a good idea to move your stop losses now in case you have a reversal. As London markets open, we are at the EU brinks now. London is open. Yeah, London is open. London opened, just opened. This is the first candle of London. Look at that go. What a pump. Such a small pump, but it's an indication that probably London wants to take it even higher. So I'll be keeping an eye at the moment and see if there are any good entries. Let's see how far will it go. We are at the 200 on the 15 minutes. That will be the 50 EMA on the 1 hour, which is a significant point of support / resistance. I'll just put the target here and remove that green line around 19,137, 19,140, and let's look how high would we go today. So it looks like we're facing some resistance over here. Volume, on the other hand, volume is very, very low volume. Look at that. I would say, looking at this volume, this move up is a corrective move. There's not much of impulse, even on smaller time frames. This was the largest, well, here was a large bar probably. This was the stopping volume candle. And even in these pumps up, we haven't seen something significant. So at the moment, we are at the 200 on the 15 minute. We are above the 50 EMA. We had a green candle, and now we have a candle that isn't green. So it could mean momentum is slowing down, or could mean it's going to begin again. Stokes are going to cross down soon. Momentum on the MACD is weak. Volume is weak. Even on the 4-hourly, you would see that, okay, here's our candle. As we moved up, lower and lower volume. That's volume divergence. That's not a good indication. If we take it from here, we had a small peak spike, but stochastic on the 1 hour shows we have more upside to go. If we look at other indicators like RSI and money flow, let's look at the MFI and the CVD. What's happening with the CVD? So Our money flow index, there is money coming in, we're getting a pull up. Our CVD is moving up, but it's telling you that it is struggling. It is coming up, but possibly bigger players are absorbing the price over here. Remember, we looked at liquidation levels. We had quite a few of positions over here to be liquidated. This is on the hourly. On the 15-minute, you see it going up, but if you go to a higher time frame, you see it going ever so slightly. Money flow has a spike up. And one more thing to look at, let's look at the 4-hourly. Any divergences, lower lows and price action, and we also had higher lows on the money flow. That's bullish divergence. CBD didn't have any divergence. And are we forming any divergences now? Bearish, no bearish divergence at the moment. I will remove this, and we look at open interest to see if money is coming in or people are getting wrecked. In the move up here, the move down, we had money coming in, money still coming in into the market. So we can't see many people getting wrecked. So it doesn't look like it's gonna reverse anytime soon, but let's see. Can't know, markets are unpredictable. 5 minute, let's go to the 1 minute. I want to see. It's good to see what's happening on the 1 minute, to see if, like sometimes before I enter a short trade, I look at the 1 minute and see, am I even losing the 50 EMA on the 1 minute? If yes, then I go to the 5 minute or even 3 minute. Where am I? I'm above. So if you're going to be losing the 50 EMA, then first thing you're going to be losing it on the 1 minute. Then it will translate into the higher time frames. So if you're on the 15-minute time frame and you want to go get into a short, you could take a higher probable trade by looking at smaller time frames if you're getting rejected or you're getting below. At the moment, this looks good. Our 8 and 30, our 5 and 13 EMA are crossing bullishly. Our 5 and 13 are crossing bullishly the 50 EMA. You can see that. And we have volume, tick volume increase on this candle. And here we don't have it slowing down or increasing, but we're struggling at the 200 EMA. A good entry for a short could be the 200 EMA rejection on the 15 or even on the hourly. But nevertheless, you need to look at your MACD and your Stokes on the time frame that you're trading. So price action first, look at the price action, indicators second. Stochastic haven't crossed, MACD is maintaining the level and hasn't crossed down negatively. We could have a red candle pull back slightly and then continue. So you need to be careful with these trades. Your 5 and 13 haven't even crossed. So a good way to trade is you wait for the 5 and 13 to cross. That's what I would do. MACD cross, expansion, you enter the trade. Or if you want to take a higher risk trade, you could enter now, but that's a higher risk trade. Other people enter on the retrace. So if I'm pushing down, I would wait for the retrace to the 50. I would enter there, the retest of that support as resistance, then you get into your trade. Okay guys, that's my update for Bitcoin and my projection, but I'll do one more thing to see how far could this go. If this is an ABC, we could go as far as 1.618 for the wave C. And wave C 1.618, as I said earlier, 19,772, and the 1-to-1 19,330. And Bitcoin loves the 618 at 19,056. So those are the levels you want to pay attention to in addition to your indicators. I know we have a cluster of levels here, but that's how the price action was. We formed We have several levels of resistance to look at as probable entries for shorts, scalp shorts, especially after a big down move like this, a strong move like this. You would expect at least a retrace into the 50 or even back retrace to a level in this region, because it was such a strong move. You can't expect to enter a short here and for it to work out for you. It's very difficult. If you missed it, just wait for the next one. There'll always be a bounce. We always think the market can't go to that price. Like now, everyone thinks that the market can't see 30K, even not 30K. People think the market can't go up to 25K, and some people believe it can't even go above 20,500. But we've seen it time and time again. The market just playing around. Of course, it takes a long time to go back. I'm gonna hide all of these and let's take a look at this. We're almost where we began in June. So there's no reason to be extra bullish or extra bearish. I mean, in June we thought that's it, we're going to 10K. And look where we ended, 25K. And now back, we're very close to 17K. We got to the low ranges of 18K. And we think we can't even get to 22K. Or even 21K. This single candle over here that we had yesterday, from the high to the low, was a move of more than $2,000. From 2154 to 18,084. So that move itself was a 9% move. A 9% move. Let's see how quick did it happen. Let's go on the 5-minute chart and see how fast was that. 20, 18 in 5 minutes. And if we go on 1 minute, look at that. It took, this is a single minute. In a single minute, Bitcoin had a news play move of 9%. So never say never. Don't think it cannot, it won't happen. 9% move, $1,792 in 1 minute, up and down. For scalp traders, that would be perfect, because it opened at 19,839. It went up to 2154. That's a $200 move. Then from there, it came down to 18,800, like another $2,000 move, or a bit less. So Bitcoin can do this in 1 minute. What makes you think it can't go to 25K ever again, or even 2,500 in one whole day? Bitcoin's average daily high for today, the range, calculated at, let's take a look, where is high ADR for today? Bitcoin's high ADR, why is this lagging? Oh, it's not lagging. Okay, Bitcoin's high ADR would be, let's zoom in. Let's move these fib levels. The high ADR, high average daily range, the range that they is expected that Bitcoin could move to, goes up to 19,496. That is $500 away from us. And the low average daily range goes to 17,828. That is $1,000 downwards or more. So Bitcoin can do both in 1 day. Sometimes we can even do both, yeah. And we could just do one direction, and those are the levels. We could go as high as 19,495 today, which is 19.5. but we have these levels of resistance we need to get through. Now if you look at the 15-minute, now how do you trade this? We had one spike to the 200, second spike, a possible third spike, and then you look at your MACD, what's happening? Stochastic overbought, a crossing down. Your EMAs haven't crossed, your MACDs haven't crossed, but if that happens, then you know, okay, this is a good point to possibly short. How's the volume looking? Volume is close to nothing. This is on the 15-minute. You are wicking. You are struggling slightly. Are you going to have a pullback, and how far? Is it going to be a pullback or the move is over? I'm going to pull again the trend-based fib just to confirm where am I. This is a 1, 2. This is the third wave up of wave A, and this was possibly our wave B, very short. I'm not sure how would that work, but we are at the 0.5 fib. We've seen those kind of moves, but if this is a wave C, then 0.5 is too small for it, I believe. And if I said this whole thing was a 1 and this is a 2, the 2 can stop at the 0.5. It is all right. So we are at a fib level. It is not it's not a bad level to chance along. Not financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion. Another thing I like looking at is Gann square of 9. Let's look at what level are we on. We're just beneath the R1 of Gann square of 9 at 19,000, and you have the next one 19.7, which is in confluence with the 1.618 that I was telling you, which is also, I think, value area high. Let's look at the value area high, our point of control. So this level has a point of control, has our 1.618 extension level from the low, and has the R1. So around this region would be a good point to say, okay, I want to chance something. That is a high probable trade, and it will coincide with the 50 EMA on the 1 hour. That would be the 200 EMA on the 50 on the 4 hour would be the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. There you have the 200 EMA. What do I have here? I have a pivot point, the M3, and I have a fib extension level. Top of the range, of this descending range. So all these levels you need to be aware of. In addition to all that, you need to be looking at the DXY. So you see Bitcoin is breaking, but it might fail. We have 8 minutes to the candle. Will we continue to 19 and get support? How far will we go? And to have more confluence, DXY is tanking, see? We're down to 110. We were at 111.8, 0.8. And now DXY is pulling back aggressively and going to the 200 for a retest. But if I was trading something and it's doing this, I would short it. You can't short the DXY, it's an index. But I would short this if I was trading something, because we have the 5 and the 13 cross, and now they're going crossing the 50, and we're breaking below the daily open. And if I look at the stochastic is oversold. You can't use these on the DXY. It's an index. It's not tradable. It's a basket of currencies against the US dollar, but it's not tradable. Now Bitcoin is getting a pump as DXY is pumping. Ethereum, same thing. Solana, same thing. Solana might go back to 13.21 or even 13.5 and hit its head at the 800 EMA on the 15 minute. And let's look at the Dow Jones. What levels are there and where are the EMEs? We have 30.7 as the R1 for the Dow Jones. The 200 EMA is right over here. Now, one coin that I noticed for a while trades opposite to Bitcoin. Look at this. Luna Classic, Bitcoin pumping, Luna Classic dumping, Bitcoin dumping, Luna Classic pumping most of the time. So sometimes people trade, you could possibly find and study it and find out that you could trade them opposite to each other. Let's look at Dogecoin. Let's look at Chiliz for a second. Oh, Chiliz is at a nice level. Again, it hit that level of resistance, 0.2445, and we're pulling back. And we're double topping at Chiliz. I mean, on Chiliz token. But we have a pivot point over here as support. We have the 50 below us. The 5 and 13 are about to cross. Our Stokes overbought, not at overbought, but still crossing down. Where's my Dogecoin? Dogecoin also opposite to Bitcoin usually. Let's take a look. There's Dogecoin. Bitcoin was pumping. Oh, Doge is pumping also. Chiliz is a token that is nice to trade. You could make mad gains. Filecoin, very close to that resistance at 5.52, and we went up to 5.51. So that's also another point, but at the moment I would rather not short anything. Markets are looking strong, traditionals are looking strong, DXY is pulling back, so I'm not sure. Maybe if you go for a short, you go for a scalp short. Bitcoin still struggling over there. Bitcoin is still struggling at the 200. We broke above the 200, which is going to be the 50, but we're bumping our head at the R1. Oh, we wicked above it. Look at that. We went as high as 19,043. The level I gave you was 1956. And we just put a wick over there. I think I'll wait a bit longer. If I miss it, well, it is what it is. You could draw this channel in and monitor Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been traveling relatively, respecting the channel. I took it from 14 September, this high over here at around 20,500, 14 September, and this low over here. This is on the 1 hour chart, and we were respecting it. We had a fake out, came down. You could look at it in a different way. One more thing, let's get rid of this for now, and these levels, because Bitcoin could be doing something else. September, yeah, and this was our low over here. We could take it from this low and expand it this way. We have a broadening falling wedge. That is a bullish pattern. We have one touch over here. We had one touch over here, second touch over here, and if we want to be accurate, you could bring it down and say you had your next touch over here, next touch over here. This was a wick up, but it's a touch. And if we come down, that's if you come down at the single candle, at this moment it's at 17,285. You could even, not necessarily come down, you could use this candle and your breakout point 19.7, again the 19.7 range, 19.7, that's 19.8, but yeah. So just be careful over there. Doesn't mean if we go to 19.7 you just short it. It could be a breakout out of this broadening wedge, and the measured move, if we break out at this point, you take the width of this mouth and you plot it on top of the breakout point, and your measured move could take you up to that level I told you of, around that region, 22,239. So just be aware, safe trading, more trades, I'm out.